How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Set 6, and today we're going to be talking about, finally, Ever Crisis. Yep, we've finally got a release date for Ever Crisis. We will be getting hold of it on the 7th of September, and yeah, it's been a bit of a long wait. Now, obviously not if you got to play the closed beta, but you know, there was a lot of us that lived in the wrong places or used the wrong devices that didn't get to play it. So this is our first opportunity to get our hands on this game. And I don't know, the hype. Is the hype still there? I was quite hyped, but it's kind of died off a little bit now. What about you? Are you still hyped for Ever Crisis? Let me know in the comments below if you are still hyped for it. I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and all the things, but let's get on with it and talk about Ever Crisis. So Ever Crisis, for those of you that don't know, is a mobile gacha type game that's going to go through the entirety of the Final Fantasy VII compilation and kind of put it all in one place, one little package where you can play the whole compilation. Now, that's a little bit misleading because you're not really playing the whole compilation as far as I've seen. From what I've seen of Ever Crisis so far, you're going to be playing an abridged version of each of the components of the compilation. So you should still get the main gist of each of the games. You know, you should still be able to get the main vibe that they were going for. But a lot of the side stuff, a lot of the world building, a lot of the character development, that's potentially going to be left out. The main thing that I'm really looking forward to is the fact that we're finally going to get Before Crisis outside of Japan. We've never had an official version of Before Crisis, so it's about time. I'm very happy that we're going to get that. That is the main thing that I'm interested in, if I'm being completely honest with you. If I want to enjoy the story of Final Fantasy VII, I will play Final Fantasy VII. That's how you do it. That's literally how you do it. And if you are someone who is looking to experience Final Fantasy VII, I highly recommend that you don't substitute playing the actual game with this mobile game. Just for so many reasons, but just don't. You'll be missing out on so much, in my opinion. Now, that's not to say that Ever Crisis isn't going to give you the basics. It will definitely give you the basics, and I feel like that's kind of the reason why we're seeing it dropping before Rebirth, because according to some reports, mainly one from RPG site, we are going to get the entirety of Final Fantasy VII on release of Ever Crisis. So as soon as the game releases, all of FF7 will be in there and available for you. As far as I know, there'll be some Crisis Core in there, and I believe that there's going to be a fair bit of this, the First Soldier storyline that we're going to get, this original storyline that's kind of meant to tie in with the First Soldier. Obviously, the First Soldier died a bit, but this is going to kind of give us the story that we should have got in there and tie it into the rest of the compilation. Seems like it's going to focus on young Sephiroth and like pre-Crisis Core Sephiroth, so it would be good to get more information on him. And I've got a weird sneaking suspicion that they're going to put something remake relevant in there. So there's going to be something that's going to explain a little bit of the mystery of remake. There's definitely going to be something. I'm not sure what, but I've just got a gut feeling that they're going to do that. Now the other thing is, like I was saying a second ago, the whole of Final Fantasy VII will be included in Ever Crisis on release, which I believe is so that everyone can be up to speed with how things go down in Final Fantasy VII, so that when they don't go down like that in Rebirth, the shock hits. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, because I get the feeling that the changes that we're going to see in Rebirth, you're going to need the context of what happens originally in order to feel the full gravity of them, and in order for the story to be conveyed properly through those changes. That's kind of the gut feeling that I've got. I could be wrong, they could just want to do it, but I get the feeling that it ties in pretty heavily to Remake, Rebirth, etc. Now, the one problem that this seems to cause is that we're probably going to get reveals of a lot of things that are going to be in Rebirth and beyond in a mobile gacha game. And what I mean by that is, when you look at Ever Crisis, a lot of the models, well, in fact, I believe all of the models are the remake equivalents. So, not in the overworld, but in combat, I mean. So a lot of the combat models, if not all of the combat models, are what we will see and have seen in Remake and Rebirth. And that's fine for enemies. It's not a major problem when it comes to enemies. But when it comes to characters, it could be a little bit more of a problem, because we're going to see a lot of characters in Ever Crisis before we see them in Rebirth. That's just a guarantee. Characters like Dio, characters like Zack's parents. I mean, we've seen Bugenhagen, that's a good thing. Enemies like Lost Number, potentially. You know, we might see them in Ever Crisis. I don't know. That's a bit side questy, so we probably won't get that one. But the really big ones, the really, really big ones are characters like Shira, Sid, Vincent, Lucretia maybe. These are all characters that we are going to see the new models, the up-to-date versions of these characters. We'll see them first in a mobile game. That feels a bit weird. I don't know how I feel about that, because chances are we're not going to get a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer at Gamescom. I think they'll go for Tokyo Game Show. There's only a few weeks between them, a month between them, and Tokyo Game Show is going to be the bigger one as far as Square Enix are concerned. I'm pretty sure Square Enix are already confirmed for Tokyo Game Show, of course. Yeah, I get the feeling that's where we're going to see the next Rebirth trailer. A month or so ago I was saying this, and I said we'll get Rebirth at Tokyo Game Show, and we'll get Ever Crisis probably. You know, a big release for Ever Crisis at Gamescom. That doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So, these characters are probably, almost certainly going to be revealed first off on a mobile game. Because we won't get a trailer before it in order to be able to see characters like Sid and Vincent. So, yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about that? I feel a little bit iffy about that. I mean, it is what it is. We're still going to get to see them in Rebirth, and they will look much better in Rebirth and beyond than they do in a mobile game in Ever Crisis. But I think it's a bit weird getting to see them for the first time in that kind of medium. It just feels weird to me. I was kind of 50-50 on what they do with Ever Crisis, whether or not we'd just get up to the end of Midgar initially, and then maybe as we get closer to Rebirth, they'd feed us chapters gradually. I kind of felt like that was probably what they were going to do. You know, so that things were fresh, but they could have this suspense kind of situation going on. They could keep people in suspense and keep giving them chapters and giving them chapters, and then Rebirth drops, and it covers everything in there. That was kind of what I was expecting. A little bit shocked if it turns out to be true that all of 7 is coming out. It could be complete nonsense. The source is on rpgsite.net that according to what Square Enix PR told James, no idea who James is, but he better be telling the truth, but apparently James was told the original Final Fantasy VII story content will be available in its entirety at launch. That is the exact sentence, which means all of FF7. Let's see if that's true. I think that's a bit weird for that to be true. I can feel like what I was just saying a second ago would make the most sense. Give us everything up to the end of Remake, the escape from Midgar, and maybe give us one chapter beyond, and then just gradually give it us as we get closer to Rebirth. That's what I think they should do. What do you think they should do anyway? Do you think I'm right? Do you think James is right? Do you think James has got the truth? Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Did you play the beta? How did you enjoy the beta? Are you looking forwards to Ever Crisis still? Just tell me what you're thinking in the comments below. Leave a like on the video, subscribe for future content, but more importantly than all of that, have a great day.